Everyone argues about Bitcoin's price. Believers say 1 million. Skeptics say 0. My position: the price is the least interesting thing about it. Because Bitcoin is not really trying to be an investment. It is trying to be the one thing we discovered last episode does not exist: money you actually own. And stay for the twist in the middle. Most people who think they own Bitcoin are about to find out they don't. Welcome to Market Raccoon, your financial learning channel. Today, we are finally talking about Bitcoin. Quick recap of last episode, because Bitcoin only makes sense as an answer to it. Your bank balance, an IOU. Your shares, held in your broker's name. Your gold ETF, a warehouse receipt. Everything you have is a promise from an institution. Keep that in mind for the next 8 minutes. January 3rd, 2009. An anonymous programmer launches a new currency, and buried in its very first block, permanently, for anyone to read, that morning's newspaper headline: Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Bitcoin's birth certificate is a complaint about the IOU system. Strip away the buzzwords, and it is almost boring. Bitcoin is a public ledger, copied across tens of thousands of computers that no single person controls. A coin is an entry on that ledger. A key, which only you hold, is what moves the entry. That is the entire invention. But look what that means. For the first time in history, a purely digital thing can be owned. Not deposited, not entrusted. Owned. If you hold the key, then no bank failure, no bail-in, and no frozen account stands between you and your money. And it moves. Saturday, 3 a.m, across any border, in minutes, without asking anyone's permission. No wire cutoffs, no business days, no forms. Now try sending your house to another continent this weekend, or your gold bar, or your brokerage account. See the pattern. Plenty of assets escape the IOU. Your house, gold in your drawer. But they do not travel. Plenty of money travels. Your card, your app. But it is all IOUs. Bitcoin is the only asset that is truly yours and truly portable. That is the entire pitch. Everything else is commentary. But what backs it? The same thing that backs its hard cap of 21 million coins: mathematics. And the fact that changing the rules would require convincing tens of thousands of independent computers to break their own money. No CEO to pressure, no board to vote, no printer to run. 21 million. Ever. Remember the melting ruler. The pool of dollars went from 900 billion to 23 trillion in 50 years. Bitcoin looked at that chart and answered with a horizontal line. And the supply schedule is public, decades ahead. Every 4 years the flow of new coins is cut in half, on schedule, no meeting required. Compare that to the alternative: a committee, behind closed doors, deciding your money's future 8 times a year. One system has policy, the other has physics. Now we are allowed to talk about the price. Class 7 volatility, remember episode 1. Drawdowns of 80% or worse, several times. Judged like a stock, that looks insane. But it is not a stock. No earnings, no dividends, and unlike a stock, it never claimed any. The price is just the world voting, loudly and badly, on one question: what is an IOU-free money worth? And that is why both tribes miss. The get-rich crowd buys the chart without knowing what they own, usually on an exchange, as, wait for it, an IOU. The scam crowd judges a property revolution by its wiggle. Same mistake, opposite directions. Everyone stares at the price. Nobody looks at the property. Which brings us to the honest turn, and it cuts deep. Most people who think they own Bitcoin don't. They have a balance, on an exchange, in an app. A number that an institution owes them. Sound familiar? That is exactly the IOU we spent last episode escaping. And crypto IOUs fail harder than banks. Mt. Gox, 2014, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin gone. FTX, 2022, an $8 billion hole where customer balances were supposed to be. No deposit insurance, by design. The lesson is not that crypto is unsafe. It is that Bitcoin on an exchange is a bank account with extra steps and no safety net. Real ownership has a price tag, responsibility. Lose the key, lose the coins. There is no password reset, no branch to call, no fraud department. The exact feature that means nobody can freeze it also means nobody can save you. Ownership and safety nets are opposites. Choose consciously. Second objection, and it is fair, the energy. Yes, Bitcoin burns real electricity. That is not an accident. It is the security model. Rewriting the ledger must cost more than anyone could gain from it. The honest question is not whether it uses energy. It is whether an unfreezable, unprintable money is worth energy. Your answer will depend on how much you trust Chapter 1 of this story. And the wiggle does matter if your rent is due in dollars. An asset that can lose half its price on the way to wherever it is going is not an emergency fund. It is a long-duration position, exactly like we said about collectibles. Only ever hold what you can hold through the whole storm. And notice what I have not promised, that you will buy coffee with it. Today, Bitcoin behaves less like cash and more like digital gold. The thing in the drawer, not the thing in the wallet. Slow, deliberate, expensive to move in tiny amounts. Superb at sitting still and belonging to you. One more strange fact that should not be skipped: the inventor vanished. Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the code, ran it for 2 years, and disappeared, leaving an estimated million coins untouched to this day. No founder to subpoena, to lobby, or to sell you a token. For a company, a missing CEO is a disaster. For a money that claims to belong to no one, it is a credential. So let's be precise about what Bitcoin is not. It will not pay you dividends. It will not outlove your Labubu shelf. It will not sit quietly like a savings account. It is a tool with exactly one job: opting a slice of your wealth out of the Tower of Promises. So here is your portable rule, and it is last episode's rule, upgraded. Run the ownership test on everything. If the institution in between vanished tonight, is it still yours? Bank deposit? No. Broker shares? Mostly. Crypto on an exchange? No. Bitcoin whose key you hold? Yes. That is not a price prediction. It is a property fact. Last question, the Steelman. How does Bitcoin actually die? Probably not by ban. It has been declared dead hundreds of times on several continents. It dies from apathy. If the world stops believing an IOU-free money is worth holding, the horizontal line protects nothing and the ledger hums along, worthless. 16 years in, that referendum keeps returning the same verdict. But make no mistake, it is a referendum forever. The price will keep doing what prices do when measured with a melting ruler. Wiggle violently around a trend nobody can prove. Let the tribe scream about it. You now know what the thing actually is, which, quietly, puts you ahead of most of the people who own it. Next time, another money belief everyone repeats gets the raccoon treatment. Bring your skepticism. If Bitcoin finally makes sense, or finally makes a different kind of sense, subscribe and ring the bell. The raccoon holds his own keys.